Have you ever wondered why some Bible stories are always explained while others are almost never heard? There are certain names that make people lower their voices when spoken, because within those stories lies something that everyone is afraid to face. Tamar. Her name appears in the Holy Scriptures, yet most of the time it passes in silence. She isn't mentioned in sermons, nor remembered in hymns. It's as if her story has been deliberately hidden, like a secret. But now you and I are going to break that silence together, because Tamar's mysterious story isn't just about an ancient woman. It's the story of anyone whose faith, courage, and trust in God have been tested. Tamar was not an ordinary person. She stood at the very heart of a miracle that no one wanted to talk about. It's the story of a woman who dared to do what was right, even when the whole world told her to be silent. And today, that story will whisper something to your heart. Are you ready? Let's begin. About 3,800 years ago, a young woman walked through the dusty lands of Canaan. The sun was scorching the ground dry. But it wasn't the heat that burned Tamar's heart. It was the loss of hope. She lived in a world where a woman's fate was completely determined by the decisions of men. And in that world, a woman could be erased easily. Tamar was married to Er, the son of Judah. Judah, one of the 12 sons of Jacob. Everything seemed to begin well, full of promise. But was a wicked man, and the Lord took his life while he was still young. And at that very moment, Tamar's real story began. Suddenly she was left alone, childless. And in those days, a widow without a child was almost considered cursed. But God had given a law to protect women in her situation, the Levirate law. It said that the brother of a deceased man was to marry the widow and continue his brother's lineage. Tamar found hope again. Maybe she would have a family once more. But the second brother, Onan, refused to fulfill his duty. God saw what he did, and he, too, died. An innocent woman, yet she lost 2 husbands, and in everyone's eyes she became unlucky. Judah promised her that when his 3rd son, Shelah, grew up, he would marry Tamar. So Tamar waited. Years went by. Shelah grew into a man. But nothing happened. Promises faded and hope disappeared. Tamar had become a woman forgotten by her society, but she was not forgotten by God, because God's plans often begin with the ones people forget. Then one day, Tamar heard a voice deep inside her heart. Waiting is not enough. Take a step for justice. And so she made a decision, a brave but dangerous one. When she heard that Judah was going to Timnah to shear his sheep, she formed a plan. She took off her widow's garments, covered her face with a veil, and sat by the road at Enaim. Judah saw her, but didn't recognize her. He thought she was a temple prostitute. Oh, the irony. The man who had denied her justice now desired her. Tamar agreed to be with him in exchange for a young goat. But she asked for a pledge until payment was made, his seal, his cord, and his staff. Judah gave them to her. And without realizing it, he fulfilled God's plan. Time passed, and soon everyone learned that Tamar was pregnant. 3 months later, news spread through the village. Tamar has committed adultery, and Judah was furious. Bring her out and let her be burned, he said. Sound familiar? The same man who broke his own promises now stood as a moral judge. But God's justice is not like man's justice. Tamar said nothing. She didn't scream, didn't plead for her life. She simply sent a message. I am pregnant by the man who owns these items. Judah looked at the seal, the cord, and the staff, and his heart shattered. At that moment, everything became clear. And he said the words that would echo for centuries. She is more righteous than I am." In that instant, God's light returned, justice was restored, and Tamar not only saved herself, she saved her entire lineage. Soon after, she gave birth to twin sons, Perez and Zerah. But here's the miracle. God placed this woman in the lineage of Jesus Christ himself. Yes, the story once seen as shameful became part of salvation. As it's written in Matthew 1:3, Judah was the father of Perez and Zerah, whose mother was Tamar. God took what people wanted to hide and made it the foundation of his plan. Because God doesn't choose perfect people, he chooses those whose hearts are right. Do you know what Tamar teaches us? Never let justice be silenced. No matter how much the world expects you to stay quiet, never be afraid to do what is right, because sometimes God performs his greatest miracles through the moments that look wrong. God sees you. When you're ignored, forgotten, or misunderstood, he sees. And when the time is right, he brings justice. Your past doesn't disqualify you from God's plan. In fact, maybe it's what places you right in the middle of it, just like Tamar. Even today, the world is full of injustice. Promises are broken, people hurt each other, and truth-tellers are silenced. But Tamar's story whispers this to us: don't give up. When you think it's over, God's story is only beginning. Remember, Tamar wasn't stoned. She was honored by God. And maybe your story will be too. God never forgets the forgotten. And sometimes your deepest pain becomes your strongest testimony. So be like Tamar. Be brave. Stand for what's right. And never forget. God's plan never remains unfinished. If this story touched your heart, share it, comment, and subscribe so more people can hear it. Because the world needs the stories of women like Tamar, people who refuse to let truth be silenced. This isn't just a story from the past. It's a voice echoing inside you right now. Do what is right, no matter the cost.